What's going on, everybody? I'm GemMint, and last night I got a chance to read the X-Men 1 by MacKay and Ryan Stegman, From the Ashes, the new X-Men series coming out of the wake of the Krakoan era, which lasted for 5 years. And I wish I could run to the mic here and tell you guys that I love this issue, that everybody should pick it up, that it's a great jumping on point, but it's just not that. And it's a shame because I'm a big fan of MacKay. I love what he's done with Moon Knight, although I haven't been caught up with the recent issues. And Ryan Stegman, the stuff that he's done with Venom, working with Donny Cates. I'm a huge fan of Ryan Stegman. I'm a fan of both creators. And I had to go check out on Pop Culture Philosophers to see what my man Rocket Robbie said about it. And he said it was just okay, that he didn't love it, that he didn't hate it. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy, but I did feel like he was a little bit generous with that review. I just did not like this issue whatsoever, and we're going to get into it, looking through some of the pages, going through the story, but I just kind of felt really lost. And that's the biggest problem with this issue for me, is that this is not a good jumping on point. If you're like, okay, I liked what Jonathan Hickman did with X-Men, but then it kind of fell apart, which is kind of what most people feel like, right? Most people eventually dropped off of the Fall of X, Reign of X, End of X titles, whatever they ended up calling themselves, and we're looking for a fresh new start, but I don't know what's going on here. Let's take a look at some of this together. And here we have the cover. So right away, the cover doesn't even stand out to me like, oh man, this is Jim Lee, X-Men #1. Everybody should pick this up. We're going to sell 1 million copies of this. It just feels like whatever. I feel like the artwork looks very scratchy and just doesn't look smooth. Not a fan of how Beast looks with these blacked out eyes. Cyclops design, I don't know. Juggernaut, so Juggernaut looks cool, but it's like, bro, if you haven't been following X-Men like I haven't been, what is going on with Juggernaut here? He looks wild. So MacKay, Ryan Stegman, and you have a new head of X. Who is that? Okay, so it looks like it's Tom Brevoort. I'm not familiar with Tom, but I guess he's the new head of X. I don't know if he's just keeping the continuity altogether or if he has any involvement with what the plots are, what the main focal points of the story are. All right, so we have the team. It kind of feels like they used a random name generator to come up with this team. You've got Cyclops, who feels like a younger version of Cyclops. You have Beast, Magneto, Psylocke, Kid Omega, Temper, Magic, and Juggernaut. So, again, not sure what happened with Juggernaut, why he's part of the X-Men now. I don't know who Temper is. I'm a huge fan of Kid Omega, but if I'm honest with myself, I don't really want to see him on the X-Men. I feel like he had a cool storyline as one of the newer students, but I feel like it doesn't work here. All right, so first of all, we open up. We are in Merle, Alaska, or 20 minutes outside of, and the X-Men are dispersed. They're no longer all on one happy island together. There is this new base or bunker here that Beast is hosting the chief of police in Alaska. But bro, is this what you think about when you think of the chief of police? Like, what the hell was that choice? So anyway, the whole time during this issue, Beast is walking the chief of police around the headquarters, trying to put her mind at ease that the mutants, the X-Men, have laid roots here, and this is where their new base is going to be. Then we flip over to Cyclops, and I guess he's leading a mission trying to rescue Wolverine. Again, if you haven't been keeping up with X-Men, why is Wolverine captured? I don't think they do a good enough job of explaining why that is. Using Psylocke, and they have many telepaths in this X-Men team that they're using to find Wolverine. He's screaming loudly in his mind that he's captured and where he's at. Kid Omega, I don't feel like it works here, man. I like his witty humor and everything, but I just don't feel like it works. You got Juggernaut here. It reminds me of the, what's his name from King of Queens? That meme where he's hunched over like that. I guess the one redeeming factor is kind of the banter between Juggernaut and Illyana. But again, I don't know. It just feels weird that like Juggernaut's like this lapdog doing whatever Cyclops says. He's almost like a teacher's pet in a sense. He feels like he's been dumbed down. And him and Magic are kind of like the Bash Bros. They're like the hit squad, the muscle that comes out and does damage to the enemies here. I guess this is Temper. We get a lot of Temper in this issue. And again, it's not a character that I'm really familiar with. Besides the X-Men team that we see in the intro, you get Glob, which is just kind of more comic relief that the chief of police walks into as she's walking through the X-Men's new base. But yeah, I mean, I'm not digging the artwork on this whatsoever, man. Wolverine's captured is kind of giving a throwback to that OG X-Men cover where he's on that X, kind of like a cross. Yeah, artwork, I don't know, just feels very scratchy. It doesn't feel like Stegman's best. I felt very lost throughout this whole issue. So again, I guess they're saving Wolverine. Here goes Cyclops. I don't know if I'm really digging the costume design. A lot of this feels like Morrison's new X-Men. It feels very much like Frank Quietly artwork, and even like the aesthetic. It looks like that kind of new X-Men vibe. Like this panel right here screams new X-Men. I guess Stegman took a lot of inspiration from that. This looks pretty cool. Yeah, the Beast stuff with the chief of police was just like, whatever, man. And not feeling the artwork. What is with the black eyes? I guess that's kind of a throwback to some older Beast artwork. I know that he's had eyes like that in the past, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it works for me. We get some Psylocke, but not too much. Yeah, see, and then you have Zorn is the healer for the X-Men, so they're introducing Zorn to the chief, which, again, feels very new X-Men-ish. And then we get, I think it's Magneto. It looks like it's another Onslaught, but instead of Magneto and Professor X into this big hulking monster, it's Magneto in a hover chair, and they keep calling him Max, and he looks de-aged as well. So, again, I don't know how many new readers you're going to pick up with this if they weren't following the fall of X and what happened with the end of the Krakoa era. I didn't follow that, so I'm reading this and I'm very lost, just trying to pick up the pieces as to, okay, I guess we have Magneto as the headmaster of the X-Men or the leader of the X-Men once again, but why does it feel a little bit different? You almost feel like the issue ends there, but after like the explanation from Tom Brevoort, and you get a checklist of what's to come, it continues a little bit more. We've got some San Diego Comic-Con announcements here. JPG, the founder of That Spider-Man Booth and co-creator of one of the best-selling independent comic books, Ninja Funk, is launching his new publishing company called Paras Entertainment. They have 3 launch titles, including Dream Killers by JPG and Alex Regal, Butterfly Effect by David Mack, and Anime Annie May by Rob Cannon. You could grab these at San Diego Comic-Con. They're going to be at booth 802 and HH07 or on That Spider-Man Booth's Whatnot stream. Make sure to check it out. Didn't love this issue. I have a hard time keeping up with series when I like them. Even like with Ultimate Spider-Man, I read the first 3 issues. I was really into it, and then I just kind of fell off. Hopefully, I'll start picking up where I left off in a trade paperback. I do want to see what Gail Simone does with Uncanny X-Men 1. I'll try out X-Factor 1. I don't really have high hopes for it. Wolverine Revenge #1. I believe that's just a miniseries with Greg Capullo artwork, so I definitely want to check that out. I'm not following Blood Hunt. Phoenix 1 and Nyx 1. I don't know. I'm not really excited for it. Maybe I'll read it if I have the time. But I'm kind of disappointed with this. I mean, I didn't have super high expectations. I didn't even realize it came out this week, so which is why I'm giving you this review a day behind. But it picks back up. Wolverine is free here. Yeah, and again, like, what is the storyline here? The storyline is the X-Men are dispersed. They have a new base in Alaska. They're trying to make nice with the local authorities so that I guess they don't kick them out or whatever. Wolverine's captured, so we rescue him, and that's kind of it. We have this kind of last scene with Wolverine and Cyclops. It looks like Wolverine is not trying to play house in Krakoa again or in this new base like they were in Krakoa. He's kind of done with that era, and I think he speaks for all of us when that happens. And I guess this city just happens to be a town where they used to build Sentinels, so that's kind of like, I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. So that's it, man. That's what happens in the new X-Men from the ashes. A new beginning. See, that's my problem. It doesn't feel like a new beginning. This feels like a direct continuation from the Krakoa era. And again, just a terrible jumping on point. Didn't like the art style. The story lacked direction. I don't really know what the story is. We're just kind of thrown into this scenario and trying to figure it out as we read along. What do you guys think about it in the comments down below? Am I way off base here, or you guys kind of agree with me on my assessment of this issue? Shoot me a comment down below. Thanks for watching, and stay minty fresh. Peace.